The road ended without warning, dissolving into pale stone that reflected the sky like water. Elias slowed his steps as the gates of the kingdom rose before him, tall, curved, and engraved with symbols that looked unfinished, as if waiting to be understood. No guards stopped him. Instead, people gathered quietly, watching. A woman approached first. She smiled, tilted her head, and said, "When the river stops asking where it flows, it arrives." Elias opened his mouth to respond, then hesitated. The words felt like a greeting, yet also a test. He nodded uncertainly. A man beside her added, "Shoes know more about roads than feet do." Laughter rippled softly through the crowd. Elias forced a polite smile, his heart tightening. No one spoke plainly. No one asked his name. He stepped forward, and the gates opened on their own. Inside, the city breathed slowly. Markets hummed, without shouting. Conversations drifted like smoke, never sharp, never clear. Every sentence curved back on itself, hiding something beneath. Elias realized then that silence here was not empty. It was intentional. As he walked deeper into the kingdom, he felt the weight of being the only one who spoke straight lines in a world built of circles. And without knowing how, he understood one thing clearly. To survive here, he would need to learn how not to say what he meant. Elias tried to ask for water. "I'm thirsty," he said to a vendor, displaying glass bottles filled with shimmering liquid. The vendor blinked, confused. "Thirst listens better when it is not commanded," he replied. "I just need a drink," Elias insisted. The man's expression darkened. Conversations around them slowed. Someone whispered. Sharp words cut soft air. Elias stepped back, embarrassed. He hadn't meant offense, yet it clung to him like dust. He watched others speak. No one asked questions directly. Instead, they offered thoughts shaped like riddles, leaving space for the listener to step inside. Answers were never given, only discovered. A child tugged his sleeve and said, "If you chase the sun, you'll miss the shade." Before Elias could respond, the child ran off, laughing. He realized then that curiosity here was dangerous when spoken plainly. Questions were considered demands. Demands were considered threats. By sunset, his throat burned, not from thirst, but from unsaid words piling inside him. Every instinct urged him to explain himself, to clarify, to be understood. But understanding, in this kingdom, was not requested. It was earned. As night fell, Elias wondered how long he could survive without asking the simplest thing of all. Help? Elias found the riddle keeper near the center of the city, seated beneath a tree whose leaves whispered even without wind. The old man's eyes were sharp, amused, and patient. "You walk like someone carrying a closed book," the riddle keeper said. "I don't understand this place," Elias replied. The man smiled. "Understanding is a door." "You're knocking with a hammer!" Elias clenched his fists. "I'm not trying to be rude. Intent does not soften impact," the riddle keeper said gently. "Here, words are mirrors. If you throw them, they break." He explained the kingdom's law not as rules, but as images. Words shaped reality. Metaphors guided decisions. To speak directly was to claim certainty, and certainty was seen as arrogance. "Say less," the riddle keeper advised. "Invite meaning instead of forcing it." Elias asked, "How to learn?" The old man replied, "When you stop listening for answers, you'll hear guidance." Before leaving, the riddle keeper added one warning. "Someone is teaching the language wrong on purpose." Elias felt a chill. Language, here, was power. And power, he was beginning to see, could be twisted. As he walked away, the whispers of the tree followed him, shaping his thoughts into softer edges. For the first time, Elias didn't try to translate them. He simply listened. Days passed, measured not by clocks, but by conversations. Elias almost understood. He practiced silence. He practiced patience. When someone said, "The moon is late tonight," Elias learned to hear worry instead of astronomy. When a merchant muttered, "Gold sleeps lightly," Elias sensed fear of theft or betrayal. Meaning lived beneath meaning, layered like echoes. He failed often. Once, He replied too clearly and caused a heated argument without realizing it. Another time, he stayed quiet too long and was mistaken for mocking. Still, progress came. Elias began responding with images instead of statements, with pauses instead of explanations. He noticed people relaxed around him, their shoulders lowered, their voices soft. Understanding was no longer something he chased. It surfaced naturally, like a thought finishing itself. Yet something felt wrong. Certain riddles repeated too often, spreading unease. Storms grow when roots argue, people whispered. Always with fear. Always without context. Elias sensed manipulation. Someone was shaping fear through language, bending metaphors toward conflict. When he mentioned this to the riddle keeper, the old man only said, "Fire spreads fastest when fed invisibly." That night, Elias realized the kingdom wasn't just speaking in riddles, it was being guided by them. And not all guides wished it well. The argument erupted in the square at dawn. Two groups faced each other, voices calm but deadly. Their words curved politely, yet each metaphor struck like a blade. "The well has been poisoned," one side said. "Only by those who drink too deeply," the other replied. Elias watched in horror as meaning sharpened. This wasn't confusion, it was strategy. He recognized the phrases, the repeated riddles. Someone had taught them how to twist language into accusation without ever naming an enemy. When Elias stepped forward, the crowd stiffened. He spoke carefully. "When birds fight the sky, the fall is shared." Silence followed. Some listened. Others turned away. The tension broke only when guards arrived, not with weapons, but with silence so heavy it forced everyone apart. Later, the riddle keeper confirmed Elias's fear. A faction known as the Veiled Tongue was guiding speech toward war, hiding commands inside poetry. "Words can heal," the old man said, "but they can also recruit." Elias understood now. This wasn't just about learning the language, it was about protecting it, and if he failed, the kingdom would destroy itself politely, metaphor by metaphor. Training began at sunrise. Elias joined others beneath the whispering tree. They didn't study vocabulary. They studied intention. Each lesson focused on restraint, on choosing images that opened rather than closed, on sensing when silence spoke louder than speech. They practiced transforming anger into weather, fear into shadows, hope into light. Elias learned that metaphors weren't decorations. They were agreements, shared understanding without force. The riddle keeper corrected him often. "Your image is too sharp. Your silence is too loud." Slowly, Elias changed. His thoughts softened before his words did. One evening, he realized he was thinking in metaphors without trying. The language had stopped being foreign. Yet urgency pressed closer. The veiled tongue grew bolder. Riddles spread faster, darker. The final test approached. A public riddle would soon decide whether the kingdom chose peace or conflict. Leaders would listen. Citizens would echo. Elias would have to speak. Not clearly, but wisely. Elias discovered the truth by accident. A discarded note. A practiced phrase. A pattern too perfect to be natural. The veiled tongue wasn't just influencing speech, they were scripting it. They believed clarity was weakness. That control came from confusion shaped carefully. War, they claimed, would restore balance. Elias confronted one of them in private. The man smiled and said, "If people walk into fire, believing it is warmth, who is to blame?" Elias answered softly, "The one who named it comfort." The man's smile faded. That night, Elias knew there was no time left for training. Only action. The final riddle was announced for the next day. The kingdom would listen and choose. Elias stood before the council as dawn painted the sky. He didn't accuse, he didn't warn. He spoke of gardens neglected, of mirrors cracked by unseen hands, of storms fed by whispers rather than wind. Some frowned, some nodded. When the veiled tongue spoke, their metaphors were sharp, urgent, absolute. Elias responded once more, calmly. A locked door protects only until it traps. Silence spread. People began repeating his images, testing them, feeling their weight. Doubt crept in, not fear. The council delayed judgment. That hesitation was victory. The final riddle was spoken at noon. Both sides offered images. Only one invited reflection. Elias said, "When two fires argue, the ash wins." The crowd murmured. Understanding moved slowly, but it moved together. The veiled tongue fell quiet. Their certainty had no space to breathe. The council chose peace not because it was named, but because it was understood. The kingdom did not abandon riddles. It refined them. Elias stayed, no longer foreign, no longer fluent in certainty. He spoke carefully. He listened deeply. Language here remained indirect, but no longer cruel. When travelers arrived, confused and sharp-edged, Elias greeted them gently. When the path bends, he would say, smiling, "It's usually trying to teach you something."